Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to look at one of my all-time favorite games, Summoner Wars. Now, this is the second edition of Summoner Wars, and it is a two-player game that is a card combat units style game, and this is published by Plaid Hat Games. Let's go ahead down the table. I'm going to give you a general overview of how to play this game, and then we're going to come back and I'll give you my final thoughts on the second edition of Summoner Wars. Alright, so this is Summoner Wars. Summoner Wars is a two-player head-to-head game where you're going to fight until one of your opponent's summoners is knocked out. And to help you along the way, one of the rules in the game is every time you have a turn, you have to at least have attempted to damage an opponent's unit, which can include their summoner. If you do not, your summoner will lose 1 health. As you can see, this summoner has 12 health, and all the summoners have a special ability, and this is how many dice the summoner will roll, and this is the symbol on the dice that you're looking for, which I'll show you in a second. To start out the game, you're going to flip your summoner over and put out the units as shown on here. Once each player has done that, you're ready to start the game. You can randomly decide who goes first, or if you're playing multiple rounds, whoever went first, the last one will go first. The other opponent will go first, the next one. So the game itself comes with 6 different factions that you can play with. Each player is going to pick one of the factions and go. During your turn, well, even before you start your turn, you're going to draw 5 cards. At the start of your turn, you're going to discard any of your active abilities. So there's some ability cards that can come out and they affect the entire map. And at the start of your turn, those get discarded. So that means that when you play them on your turn, they will last through your turn, through your opponent's turn, and then they're gone on the start of your turn. And there's several different types of cards, and the main types are going to be gates. These are your summoner gates. Your summoner can place these down, and then you can summon units, regular units, from them. There's no diagonal in this game, so you could summon horizontal or vertically from this gate as long as there isn't another unit there. This is an example of a unit. The unit has a cost, which is 2. You start the game out with 2 magic, so this would cost 2 magic to deploy. It has 5 health, so it can take up to 5 hits. Most have a special ability, and this is how many dice it rolls. And again, the symbol it's looking for. On the dice, you have a picture. These 2 main things are going to be the sword and the crossbow. These are going to be what you roll to do damage, depending on the symbol on the card. And sometimes you want to roll these little magic symbols for some special abilities. Ranged units, like the ones with a crossbow, can fire 3 away. And that is the main gist of the cards itself. The big thing about the cards is learning these special abilities and what they can do. Some are free to, like this one here is free to deploy. Almost every faction has at least a couple that are free to deploy. And there's also effects, like this one's an immediate effect. You can remove 2 damage from each friendly, common unit, and champion within 2 spaces of your summoner. And you can play this on any time during your turn. Holy Judgment's another one. This one has an active ability. Friendly summoners have +1 strength. So this would be the example of one you can place out, and it'll stick around until the beginning of your next turn. The second thing you're going to do on your turn after you discard those events is you're going to be able to summon these cards, like I said. So if I pay 2 magic, I can summon this Citadel Archer. And I could summon him in any of these 3 places, and I use up my magic. The next thing you can do is you can build. Now build is going to be building units like this gate. So the gate would have to go here, here, here. So at this time I'm probably going to want to move my summoner around to have a gate at a different location. And you can have your gate on the opponent's side, which will be really helpful to spawn units on your opponent's side to help do damage. Now this is going to be one of the after you summon your normal units, you're going to move, and then you can build. So I could move my unit right here, so she can move 2 spaces, and then I could have built after I'm done with movement. So you're going to move your units. So let's say I'm going to move him here, and I'm going to move this archer here, and I can move, I can move her here, and I can move up to 3 units. Now again, I can build, so I could, if I could build this gate here if I wanted to have an extra summoning point for some reason there. And then I can attack. Now if I don't attack at all, I will lose 1 health on my summoner. So I could attack with this Citadel Knight, and I would roll the dice, and I got 2 swords, so I would deal 2 damage to this guy right here. Now this Deceiver, we're not going to pay attention to any abilities, has 4 health. So I did 2 damage, so I'm going to put 2 damage on it. 2 damage. Now in the game you would pay attention to abilities, I'm just simplifying it. And I'm going to fire with my archer because I'm within range. I roll 1 die and it gets 1 hit. So this unit gets a hit. Next, you can gain magic. And I can gain magic only 2 ways in the game. At this point, I can discard my cards to gain magic. So maybe I don't care about Holy Judgment right now, and I don't care about Temple Priest, and maybe I don't care about Heal. So if I discard all 3 of these, I will gain 3 magic. And at the end of the turn, I'll draw 5 cards. The only other way that you get magic in the game is you defeat enemy units. Whenever you defeat an enemy unit, you'll get 1 magic. You can even attack your own units, but you will not get magic for that. So that is how to play Summoner Wars. The meat of the game is actually in understanding all your faction's abilities and what your faction can do. But the underlying rules, that's it. It's a very simple, easy to teach game. So let's go head back up to the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts on Summoner Wars. So I really liked Summoner Wars. The first edition came out, and I had all the factions, and I played it a lot. And I had an app that came with it that was really nice too. This Summoner Wars second edition is even nicer. I love this one even more. The art is nice and refreshing on it. I like it more than the first edition art. It streamlined a lot of the combat, just in the fact that it's big symbols now. The dice are unique now. It's just great. I mean, it's very simple to do combat. You roll, you look for the symbols, done. The health points look like they were redistributed a little bit, which is nice. And everything about it is streamlined. Not that the original game was bad in any way. It was great. This is just better. And if you're a fan of Summoner Wars, I would probably highly recommend upgrading to the second edition. Get all the corrected factions. They're more balanced now. They're for play with each other, mainly because of huge amounts of probably fan feedback from the first edition. And as of this point of this recording, they have actually come out with a starter set that comes out with 2 new factions that I got. And it looks like they're going to keep on bringing out factions, which I'm super, super happy about this. So Summoner Wars, I think, is a great 2-player strategic combat game. So that's my thoughts on it. If that's what you're looking for, I highly recommend checking it out. Thank you for watching.